So this is Frank Tufano before the surgery. In case you don't know who he is, he's a YouTuber. He used to, produce content in the nutrition field. He used to talk about a lots of things about carnivore diet. And this is him before the surgery, prior to the surgery, right? I mean, quite normal looking guy, I would say. And there's definitely a preference for this type of, for this phenotype. Like he looks like kind of Italian. I don't know. He has some good features like nose. He has good jaw. Good jaw definition. He's not a bad looking dude, right? Like I'm not gonna be a looks. I'm not gonna be those looks maxers, and draw ratios on his face, like draw a bunch of lines on his face and measure like his ratios, measure the distance from his upper lip, the tip of his nose, the philtrum, and then classify him as a 6 or as a 7. I'm not gonna do that, none of that bullshit, none of that nonsense. But clearly, like to anyone, I don't know, he doesn't look like a bad looking guy. He was well spoken. He used to produce lots of content in this nutrition field, and this is him after the surgery. This is just a briefing in case you don't know who he is, and this is him after the surgery, after this surgery, which is called orbital decompression. He had a few additional procedures such as infraorbital implant, which aims to fix the hollowness of the eyes. For example, I have some hollowness in my eye area, and like the infraorbital implants, they aim to fix that. They project the infraorbital, region a little bit like forward in order to give a more, healthy look instead of tired like look. Sometimes I look a little tired, more tired than usual, even though I have slept, I don't know, 8 hours. Have a good quality sleep because I have some hollowness in my eye, like in under eye area. So infraorbital implants, they are not a very like severe procedure. Of course there are risks, but not compared to infraorbital. I mean, not compared to orbital decompression. Orbital decompression aims to basically it scrapes the inner eye socket, this inner like the sockets of the eyes, and it pushes. Then it proceeds to push the eyes inwards in order to fit better into the eye sockets. And there's a lot of risk with that. And it's, these people are very good candidates for this procedure. People with very bulging eyes. People with very bulging eyes, their eyes are basically popping out of their skull. But however, Frank Tufano somehow was offered that procedure, disclosure. I'm not here to judge him. I'm not here to, bash on him. I'm not here to criticize him or to mock him or make fun of him, just for the sakes of likes or just for the sakes of, I don't know, feeling superior or something. Because I have underwent cosmetic procedures like surgery in the past, although I look like this, I know. So I know that as someone who has done something similar, it would be very, I don't know, it wouldn't be good of me, to judge him on what he did. Because maybe I would have not done the same. Because honestly, this, like, orbital decompression, I would have never done this. Especially if I looked like this, So I'm not here to bash on him, but at the same time, I'm here to question. I'm here to question the reasons why you should be very diligent with this looksmaxxing trend, with this whole looksmaxxing lifestyle, priorities, I don't know, prioritizing your face, the way you look before everything else. You spend years, you spend thousands of dollars on your own face in order to attract people who you don't care about, in order to receive validation from the strangers online, in order to have a few more likes, in order to have, a few more likes on Tinder. This is so, what a miserable life we have, living in modern days, man. But I understand his pain. That's why I'm not here to criticize him for doing this. We know that the doctor he went to for this procedure, for the surgery, is Dr. Taban, which is one of the most renowned, reputed surgeons, ocular surgeons in US, and probably one of the most expensive as well. And he's the one which people tend to go for, with such complaints, usually functional as bulging eyes like this. There's a reason behind this. We can see this is not, it's not a normal condition, right? There's something behind this, some kind of disease, I think. Something linked to thyroid, I would say. And well, he basically fixes. See, this is from his post. This is actually his post. Beverly Hills. Yeah, this is Dr. Taban's office, and he managed to fix this. Beautiful outcome, beautiful, just beautiful. But in Frank Tufano's case, it looks like a disaster. It looks terrible. I mean, here you can see how destroyed this guy is inside, and I truly feel bad for him. I'm not here to feel pity. I'm simply someone who's empathetic. I'm not here to feel pity towards someone or feel superior or anything like that. It's just that you can see, like, if you scroll down, you can see how he used to post lots of things about nutrition prior to the surgery. And it used to be the main thing in his life, the main topic, the main thing that led his life, that led his YouTube channel was nutrition, was diet, mainly carnivore diet. The implications, the benefits, the drawbacks of carnivore diet. And now the only thing that he talks about, and the only thing that people talk about actually, is about his eyes, the way his eyes look. Like, oh, what happened to your eyes? What the fuck happened to your eyes? And only that, not only the aesthetics of it, but also the functional problems. Imagine having any kind of problem in your eyesight, in your vision. Like, if you lose 10% of your vision, you would feel the impact of that immediately. You know. Now imagine having blurry vision. He says that when he looks at the sides, his vision gets blurry, he gets lost. So imagine you have to drive. Like, you cannot take care of yourself anymore because now you are basically crippled for life. So this is the dark side of looksmaxxing, dark side of, like, hard maxing, as some people say. You have to fix your phalos. I support you trying to fix your phalos, but do not try to create halos. If you take a look at his face, the proportions of his face, they do not allow him to have more horizontal eyes. He probably went for those, so-called hunter eyes, and tried to have more horizontal looking eyes. But the proportions of his face are long. It's not compact. It's not narrow. It's actually long. So it's better for him to have, like, rounder eyes as he used to have. So he was just like, it was much better that way. And then he somehow probably fell into this, hunter eye trap and went for a surgery that would give him a more horizontal eyes, kind of look, horizontal, like more compact. And because he probably had, I think he had a lower eyelid retraction along with the orbital decompression and infraorbital implants. Like, they simply, crushes your eye sockets and it becomes, like, really small compared to his round eyes. I mean, being functional and not so aesthetic and not aesthetically perfect is better than being perfect but not functional. Remember that. Therefore, it's better for you to be 5'8" than to be 6'3" but crippled, walking like a crippled, I don't know, 80 years old geriatric man for the rest of your life at 25 years old because you wanted to be 6'3" because you fell for the trap. Like, oh, you want to attract more women and, to slightly improve your game. Okay, you have improved your game, but now you're crippled. Listen, these things are not that simple as some people think. I am all for surgeries that can fix that can give you a better overall, like, quality of life, such as BMX, which can improve your breathing, your sleep, has very good functional improvements, implications in, the functions of your body, such as breathing, for example. And also aesthetically, like, it's gonna make you more healthy looking. You're not gonna look as tired as before. The soft tissue of your face is gonna sit better in a better position. Therefore, you're gonna not suffer from premature aging that much. So I'm all in for surgeries like that. But BMX is very different compared to orbital decompression or like limb lengthening, for example. Listen, I'm not considering the pain of someone who's 5'4" and undergoes limb lengthening to reach 5'8", for example. Limb lengthening, if you don't know, is basically surgery that breaks your leg in half and lengthens through a period of time with a uh, uh, rod. They attach a rod to your leg, and every day you have small, like, Fractures. It took took me a time to thought of that word. Fractures every day. It gives you some fractures, and it basically extends the bones, like your bone. At the same time, your muscle also lengthens, like it's expands. So it basically stretches. Therefore, there are lots of function drawbacks in that. Therefore, you have to be very aware of every possible risk in a surgery. And usually the benefits of a BIMX outweighs the risks, right? That's the reason why I actually support such surgeries. But be careful to not take this path with so much ego to look like a model. Listen, if you don't look like a model, do not try to look like a fucking model. Do not try to look like a model artificially. I could try to pursue that path as well. In order to, of course, it would improve my dating life. It would improve my I would get more likes on Instagram. I would get more, looks. But at the same time, is it worth it? Is it truly worth it? Think it yourself. What person? How many people actually get to look like a model? I know you want to stand out, but do you have the base to look like a model? I mean, he looked perfect already. There's certainly a group of people who find him very attractive. There's some people who prefer blondes. There are people who prefer like Latinos or I don't know, whatever. There's taste for everything. So there's a group of people. If you don't look like a model, of course, like if you look like a model, then it's understandable that the taste for your looks is more general. Like everyone is going to find you attractive because you are like universally attractive. But how many of us are actually lucky to look like that? Very few. It's one in 100,000, one in 1,000. So be very diligent, be very lucid and sane when it comes to such decisions. When it comes to changing your face or changing your body, something in your body, being functional is much better than trying to look perfect, right? Because one thing, you have to understand one thing. You have to actually, you know, have this deeply rooted in your mind. Beauty eventually vanishes. Beauty eventually vanishes. We grow older, we age, and beauty collapses, right? It fades away. What it used to be, it was simply be gone one day. Looks, the way you used to look, your beautiful hair, it will be gone. So why spend this entire life? Why spend so much energy on in your life trying to achieve the perfect look? Because if you could look like that forever, then I understand that. Of course, at the same time, you have to weigh these things. I'm not telling you to look like to not take care of yourself. It's not the same thing. It's weighing the risks and rewards of each action. Oh, if I don't know, have a rhinoplasty, my nose looks gigantic. My nose looks insanely big. First thing that people notice on my face is my nose. I've been made fun of my nose for my entire life and being bullied, due to my nose for my entire life. Should I fix it? Yeah, fucking go for that. It's definitely there's like pretty high chance of this actually improving your quality of life. But let's say you have a perfectly looking nose, you have brown eyes. You want to change your eye color, for example. You want to change your eye color to blue. That's not actually fixing something. You're not actually fixing a flaw. You're not fixing a phalo. You're trying to create a halo. You're trying to go from something that you're not to something that you want to be, that you have saw somewhere, that you aspire to be. It's not going to work. It's an act of stupidity. It's an act of extreme vanity. And vanity is a sin. Vanity has its drawbacks. Again, going to the gym, although some people might say, oh, gym selling is bad. Like gym selling does not. It's in 100 cases, it's better for you to go to the gym. It's better for you to be strong. It's better for you to be physically active than to not do it, than to be sedentary. Okay. Regardless if you look like a model, you know, or I don't know, if you're a worldwide model like Chico Lachowski, Tyson Ballou, all these guys, they actually work out as well because it's a bunch of attributes. Life, presenting yourself to society is the way people perceive you, the way people treat you is based on your attributes. So, and physicality and Beauty is one of them. It's one of those attributes. Of course, it's very important, especially for women, especially for women. But a man is not remembered for the way he looks like. He's not remembered. He's not going to mark his life and the history of humankind for the way he looks, rather for the things, rather for the things that he does, for the things he had built, the things that he had constructed, the things he says, the things he wrote, or the pieces he have composed. Nobody's remembered, especially men. Men are not supposed to be beautiful. Either you are beautiful, either you are born as a handsome man, or you are not. You try if you have a very, as I said, a very big flaw, like a big nose, like a crooked nose or crooked teeth. Like, of course you're gonna, fix that. But what are the risks of that? Very minor, compared to, I don't know, trying to make your eyes more horizontal looking by scraping the inner eye socket, which is a procedure recommended for people with this case, with this condition, with this. So be very diligent with this trend. Be very diligent. Oh, I truly hope that Frank manages to recover from this. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate to watch, to see all this happening in his life, almost like in real time, the way that things unfolds. He just went through another procedure. Look at this. This is insane. It almost looks like makeup. But wow. I mean, that's my 2 cents on this one. See you on the next video.